1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I love counting. Whatever the amount.
Hello everybody, it's the Lawn Gnome, and welcome to another 10 for 12. This one is for June 2014, and I figured that today would be another great opportunity to go back and visit the Funko Pop world. Just because of the fact that there has been so much happening in the past couple of weeks, and of course I will post a link to my Pop Update playlist. I figured that a couple of months ago I did a 10 for 12 that was about the 10 pop lines that should be released, and I am actually happy to say that one of them in fact did get created, and it's being released at the end of July. So today I wanted to revisit the pops and say, I want to talk about the top 10 pop lines that I, as a fan, would like to see, for my own personal reasons. So, let's begin with number 10. There are so many great popular figures out there in the world of film, television, and pop culture, and if there is one television character that should be featured as a pop, it is Lucille Ball from I Love Lucy. I feel that I Love Lucy had such an impact on so many people. Even children today even know what I Love Lucy is and what the show is all about. So if there was an opportunity to see a I Love Lucy line, it could be of her and Ricky and Fred and Ethel, or Lucy in a couple of different forms, like the episode where she was crushing the grapes, or the episode where she was working in the chocolate factory. There's just so many opportunities there, and I really think that so many would appreciate I Love Lucy as a pop. Number 9 deals, once again, with the Pop Rocks line. One of the things that you will see in this top 10 list is me visiting the pop lines that aren't as popular as others, and the Pop Rocks, which revolves around music, is one of my personal favorites, and I think that there should be Daft Punk pops. These are two gentlemen from France that conceal their identities with these amazing-looking robot-like helmets, and I think that they would make excellent-looking pops because there's so much detail on them, and if there's one thing that Funko is good at is putting details onto these vinyl figures, and I think that Daft Punk pops would be an awesome addition to the rock set, and I would definitely consider picking those up for myself. Number 8 also visits another lost line, and it's the ad line. There is a pop line that consists of 3 figures, and the line is called the ads, or the advertisements, and it was the 3 General Mills cereal monsters, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry. They're not so easy to find right now, but I think that if you actually can find them online, if you go to comic book or novelty stores, you can easily find them if they do, in fact, sell Funko Pops. But I really feel that they should tackle more of these, not necessarily just cereals, because there's so many iconic pop ads, like Mr. Kool-Aid Man and stuff like that, and I think that one that should be featured is the 7-Up Spot. The little red circle with the black shades and the hands and the legs, I think that that would be an awesome pop. We'll move on to number 7, and if there's one movie that I absolutely love as far as Jim Carrey goes, it is The Mask. Based on a comic book, of course, and I think that The Mask was one of the coolest characters in all of film. It's one of the most underrated movies that I've ever seen, and I think that seeing a Mask pop would be fantastic, because I absolutely love that character, love that movie, and I feel that the Ace Ventura one is a very popular favorite. Another Jim Carrey character, I think that that would be just fine for many Funko Pop fans. Number 6 would go back to a classic cartoon from the 80s. I mentioned that there should be a Care Bears line, but considering the fact that there are He-Man pops, She-Ra pops, Ninja Turtles, and Transformers, and Thundercats, why not Silverhawks? There are so many people out there that will say, what is a Silverhawk? And then there's a whole other bunch of people that would say, yes, Silverhawks are awesome! That was a great short-lived show from the 1980s. Pretty much the Thundercats in space. Great show, great premise, great music, and I think that a Silverhawks line would be pretty awesome too. Number 5 will go back to the Rocks characters, and I think that one that should definitely be featured is one of the iconic mascots of heavy metal, and that is Eddie. And if you don't know who Eddie is, he is the face of the band Iron Maiden. He looks like this. He would be an awesome pop, because one of the things that Funko does well is the horror line, and Eddie is a character that, while he is linked to music, he is very much linked to the world of horror as well, and I would love to see Eddie as a Funko Pop. I think that that would be just so cool. Number 4, I would love to see a Scott Pilgrim line. Not based on the movie, but the figures that should definitely be based around the graphic novels, because the illustrations of these characters are so cool and so unique, very anime influenced, if you might say. And there's also that Scott Pilgrim video game for the Xbox, which featured them in that specific style of animation and illustration, and I think that if we could see a couple of Scott Pilgrim pops, I think a lot of people would appreciate that. We're moving on to the top 3, and if there's one HBO show that I would love to see as a pop line, it would definitely be Entourage. We have seen the success of Game of Thrones. I am having a feeling that there will be a lot more HBO shows that they would consider getting the rights for, but I think that an Entourage line would just be an amazing pop line to see. All 4 of the guys, Ari Gold, Lloyd, Mrs. Gold, Shauna, you name it. I think that seeing the entire cast of Entourage as pops would definitely be very popular, especially for those who watch the show and those who live in New York. And I think that when the movie comes out next year, they may actually consider making the line then. That would just be my own personal opinion, but hopefully they will make them, because I think that they would be very successful as far as Funko Pops go. And as we move on to number 2, I think that one of the most iconic figures of the 1980s that should be turned into a pop would be Ferris Bueller. I think that the Ferris Bueller line would be a really popular one. I mean, The Goonies, Back to the Future, 80s horror movies, so many of these are making headway and so many people are buying them. And I think that if they make a Ferris Bueller line, they could definitely consider making the Ferrari as a pop ride. I think that a lot of people would consider picking that up as well. I mean, considering that they made the Scarface car a pop ride, I think that there's a very good chance that if Ferris Bueller and his friends get turned into pops, a Ferrari could probably follow. And what is the number 1 in my own personal opinion of pops that I would like to see? The cast of Seinfeld. Who wouldn't want the cast of Seinfeld for their very own? I mean, to have Jerry, Elaine, George, and Kramer sitting on your mantle, sitting on your nightstand, I mean, that is one of the greatest group of television cast members in the history of television. Seinfeld is probably the funniest show that was ever created. I have all 9 seasons. They are just memorable. The show's lines are unforgettable. They are embedded in our pop culture, and the fact that it hasn't been decided to make them into pops is strange to me, considering the fact that there are shows like Arrested Development and Breaking Bad on the way. I don't think there's any reason why Seinfeld shouldn't be turned into Funko Pops. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please throw down your comments. Let me know what pop lines you would like to see. And I appreciate you guys sticking around for another 10 for 12, and I will see you guys next month for another, and actions speak louder than words.